The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I'll share a story with you. It's a true story. I just shared it recently, actually. It's a true story. A story about this woman, Polish woman. Her name was Marysia Kowalski. Born in Poland, 1920s. And kind-hearted woman, wonderful woman, always tried to help people, never spoke an unkind word about anybody. When she was in her late teens, she leaves home and she goes to work for a Christian family. Now, while she's there, she blends right into the family. She's, fits right in with the kids, takes care of everybody, cleans the house, etc. She goes to church with them every Sunday, always wears a smile on her face, a wonderful person. There was one detail about this Polish woman, Marysia Kowalski, that the family didn't know. And that was that the woman who lived in their home wasn't born Marysia Kowalski. She was born Hannah Yehudis Grunstein, a Yid. A Yid that never stepped foot in a church in her life. But she grew up going to the shtibel, going to the local shul in Lemberg. And unfortunately, her whole family ends up in the Lemberg ghetto. And she escaped. She escapes the ghetto, hides as this nanny, this housekeeper for a Christian family. And throughout the entire war, she keeps her true identity quiet. She even manages to keep a mezuzah hidden together with her, sewn into her coat. And when the war ends, she comes to America. And when she comes to America, she's got nothing. Her parents were killed, siblings were killed, everybody. She had nothing to her name and not a family member. And after losing everything, just try to imagine this for a second. You've got nothing to you. You have nothing to your name. And your whole life has been wiped out. Why? Because you're a Yid. That's why. And she finally gets to America. No one knows who she is. She knows very well how to live like a guy. She's done it for years. She could blend in like a nice Christian girl. No one will ever know who she was. And she could stay safe forever. Just don't tell anyone that you're a Jew. But she didn't do that. Instead, she cared so much about future Doros. She cared so much about Klal Yisrael. She cared so much about Yiddishkeit. She wanted to make sure that she can have Jewish kids and Jewish grandkids. And so after years of not keeping Shabbos, and not keeping Kashrus, and not keeping Yom Tov, she decides, I'm going back. No more Marysia Kowalski. From now on, I'm Hannah Yehudis Grunstein. And as I tell you this story, I shudder at the thought of where I, Tzvi Sytner, would be today if this woman would have chosen to just survive and hide as a guy instead of building a nice Jewish life. Because this woman was my Bubby. This was my grandmother. That moment, the moment where you're given the opportunity to hide, to keep quiet, so that you could stay safe. But instead you say, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm coming out. I'm going to be public about it. I'm going to be proud of who I am. I'm going to do what's right even though there's a risk. I'm going to do what's right even though I'm afraid. And I am afraid. And I am taking a risk. People know that I'm a Jew. Look what happened to my whole family. From now on, I'm going to be proud of who I am. And even though it's scary, I'm forging forward. This is what Esther did. What makes Esther Esther is this moment. This is it. She has the fear, but she pushes forward anyway. Because it's right. Because she has the emunah. And because she has the emunah, she has a malach who comes in and keeps that head up. So she goes in with confidence. Esther was hidden. But she didn't stay hidden. And maybe that's why it's called Megillas Esther. Revealing the hidden. Not just referring to Hashem, that Hashem was hidden behind the scenes, but revealing the hidden Esther. That Esther revealed who she was, and this is the turning point in the entire story of the Megillah. This moment where Esther has the courage, where Esther pushes through that fear. This is what I've heard called her Esther moment. And who doesn't have an Esther moment? I can tell you that my Bubby, she did have an Esther moment. She had that moment when she came to America and had the choice to hide. But she didn't. She pushed through. That was her Esther moment. And that's what made Esther the queen that we know today. And I think really, it's those moments in every single one of our lives that make us who we are.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org